Hi, welcome to our second video in our Culture Hacker series. My name is Shane Green and our group helps you reprogram your employee experience. Today, I want to talk to you about company values, which I believe are really the foundation of your whole organizational culture. Unfortunately though, values are often dismissed as some sort of philosophical BS, and yet I believe they may be the most important cultural mechanism your company can have. Alright, so why are they important? Well, first of all, they describe how work gets done, which I'm going to tell you now is just as important as defining what work gets done. They are also defining how people act and interact with each other, their peers, customers, and even the organization itself. I also think values are really important because they help define decision making at all levels of the organization. They basically define who gets hired and fired. They can define day-to-day decision making, or particularly in some sort of crisis, how to act and respond. And they also even can think about how new products and services actually get developed and what gets invested into. Now, I know many companies have values, but the problem is that there's a number of issues. First of all being values are outdated. Listen, they've been around for hundreds of years, I get it, it's the core of the company, but are they really relevant to today's modern worker? You've got to challenge that because I'm going to tell you, the modern worker needs these values more than anything else. Second of all, are they even promoted? You go to so many companies today and you don't even know. You ask people, do you have values? They think so. They're not seen, they're not promoted, they're not utilized. So bottom line is people don't even know they exist. If they do exist, sometimes there's just too many values. We've worked with organizations that have 10, 12, 15 different values. Talk about mind messing with your staff. Well, how do they know what's really important? When it comes to values, less is more, and when you have too many, they start to become really irrelevant. Are the values vague? You know what? If values don't have some really specific behaviors associated with them that are measurable and observable, then how do you even know if the values are actually in place and people are actually following them? So make sure that you're getting specific, particularly with those behaviors associated with every value. And then finally, the problem I see with many organizations is that the managers just don't buy into them. There's no support for them. They don't walk their talk, whether their beliefs, their words, their actions. Why should your staff buy into any values when they see that their managers don't consider them important anyway? All right, so it's time for a refresh. Time to think about maybe rebuilding those values. What should you think about? Well, first of all, my first piece of advice is get your employees involved. Get them as part of the ownership. Get them buying into this. You'll be amazed that if they have a part in developing these new values, or at least refreshing the old ones, immediately they'll start to pay more attention to them. Second one, less is more, as I've said. So start with maybe a maximum of 4 values. Realize you can add more values later on, but really try and focus in on what the most important values or ideals are for your organization today. And then, as I've already said, for each value, you must have 2 or 3 really specific behaviors associated with them that are observable and measurable, so I can tell whether or not someone is buying into those values. All right, you've got these values built. Now you have to align them throughout the organization. They must become a part of the selection process, your orientation, your onboarding, your whole performance management program. When I see a performance appraisal, I should see your values. When I hear about recognition, you should be recognizing people that follow your values. And I should see your values throughout your leadership expectations. And speaking to managers, remember this. Invest more time in getting your managers comfortable and confident in the values than anything else. Listen, it will live and die by whether or not your managers buy into this. So you see, these values, they're not just some philosophical bullshit. They support the ability to work ethically, for it allows you to grow easily and make decisions appropriately. Your values are the foundation of your employee experience and what I believe is also the foundation of your company's success. So pay attention. Listen, thanks for tuning in again today. My name is Shane. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao.